Um, welcome to the welcome to the Buzzer Beater podcast. Today I have a very special guest named Noam Harari, which happened to be my cousin, all the way from LA to Switzerland.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy we could get this going.
How you doing, Noam? Noam is a hooper, just like me. We both love the game. We're just going to be giving our analysis and just be sharing our knowledge. So if that's something that you guys like, feel free to join us. Feel free to comment and maybe even hop on one of our podcasts. So, Noam, I'm going to start just generally talking about this season, um, jumping straight into the playoffs, I guess, because we're not going to be talking about the regular season. When we're gonna start with the series that everybody want to be talking about, the series that gets the probably the most amount of ratings and that we all wonder how it's gonna turn out.
Let me
I'm talking, of
guess.
course, yeah, talking about the Lakers Timberwolves, and
Absolutely.
yeah, so Timberwolves goes up to a surprising 1-0 lead.
hmm
I was very surprised, I have to say, considering how Luca basically owns the Timberwolves and how good Luca and LeBron have been looking throughout that last stretch of the season. Had the best defense for 21 games, blah blah. Um, what is your take? Do you think this is going to hold up during the playoffs and during this series, or what is your take? What is your expectation?
It's interesting because initially, without going over the series, I did not have faith in the Lakers going into the playoffs that they were a playoff worthy team. You mentioned their number one defense going into the playoffs. I thought that was a lot of shooting luck, a lot of things that wouldn't be able to be replicated in the playoffs. They were focusing on, they rely on packing the paint, they rely on hitting threes, and not allowing other teams to make their three or having the other teams not make threes.
Yeah,
So, so they have zero rim protection. They play Jackson Hayes, who's not a great rim protector himself, for 15, 16 minutes a game, and then rely on this switchable defense to pack the paint and go out and close out on shooters when they get the ball.
yeah.
Yes. So
I'll tell
yeah.
I'll tell you what. I won't have like recency bias, and I won't be too hurried to like bury the Lakers because we've seen teams jump back from a 1-0 deficit. I don't know if you remember Charles Barkley during the bubble getting the brooms out to broom the Lakers after losing to Portland. And I mean, if you watch that game, I mean, Portland did look good. You know what I mean? Just as Minnesota did. But is Jaden McDaniels gonna hit? I don't know how many did he hit. Like,
Eight 2-point field goals. 8 for
yeah,
10 on 2-point field goals.
yeah, three from three from three. Julius Randle 4 from 6. Is that gonna hold up?
No. So I should have said also, sorry to interrupt. Uh I still have the Lakers winning in the series. And initially when I had gone over the series, I thought Minnesota would win because of their rim protection and because of their depth. When I went over and really broke down the series and what I thought would happen, I chose the Lakers for different reasons. And I'm not changing that prediction right now. I still would before I had the Lakers in 6, right now it's looking more like probably Lakers in 7.
Lakers in 7. I hope it doesn't go 7 games for the sake of our old LeBron James.
Yeah.
Um, even though he's been letting Luca and Austin Reeves take over the games, basically ever since this trade has happened, he's been playing amazingly off the ball, which is something we have to say a little bit kudos for Braun for being able to allow Luca to be Luca.
Mhm.
I do think there was a little bit too much your turn, my turn in the last game. Not enough ball movement, too much one on one, and they didn't go enough to the paint.
It was really hard for them to get into the paint, especially when you have Rudy Gobert there standing. It's hard.
I know, and I mean they tried to pull him out every time, but I guess without a rim runner and without that lob threat, it makes the whole thing a little bit less effective for Luca. And
Yeah.
they're gonna rely a lot on those step back threes. Look, it's on JJ to find which adjustments to make. I'm not really sure. Is it like playing Jackson Hayes more? Is it not playing him at all? I think they had a pretty bad plus minus when he was on the court.
Yeah.
Even though
Look,
plus minus can, yeah.
yeah, it's plus minus isn't everything, but it's something, and I think it's gonna be a really hard balance and really tough solution to find. And Jackson Hayes is important because he can protect the rim better than some, but at the same time, when he was on the court, they were just there was no one to guard. Uh, there was no one to guard Anthony Edwards. Dorian Finney-Smith is the best defender, and when Jackson Hayes is in the game, that means usually Dorian Finney-Smith is not playing.
How about more Vanderbilt? A little bit more Vanderbilt on Anthony Edwards.
I would love to see that. He was great. I think he only played like 14 minutes or something, and I think he had the best plus minus. I think he had a -2.
Yeah.
Here we go, -2 plus rating in 14 minutes, and he's just gets rebounds, offensive rebounds. He could do a good job on him for sure. Question is just like still the paint is susceptible for guys like Jaden McDaniels to get into the paint and get easy layups.
Yeah, I guess it's more, yeah. It's hard for me to see the Lakers winning right now, even though it was hard for me to see them losing. Like everybody and their mother selected Lakers to get out of the series. I think it caught everyone a little bit off guard, seeing Minnesota rolling the way they did.
Hmm.
And I'm scared. As a Lakers fan, I'm a little bit scared right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with you. I mean, it's hard for me to see them winning right now either when I watch that game, but I was thinking before you said that I was thinking about that Portland series and how I'm not going to change all of my beliefs over one game.
right.
And at the end of the day, like you said, they have freaking Luka Doncic and LeBron James on their team, and I will trust that they can find a way to win. And I think
I
that
mean,
they came out, yeah, I think they came out without energy. I think they came out like it was like JJ Redick even said they came out like it was a regular season game, and I really felt that when they were playing the game.
I absolutely agree. And also, like, we cannot expect their bench to be, I mean, what is it, like 10 points or something?
Man, look at
Or
that. They think they hit
13 points?
5 field goals, and 2 of those are from Dalton Connect in garbage time. I mean, I'm sure other of these I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith 1 for 5. And on threes in general, I mean, Luka was hitting the step back today, which is nice, but LeBron went 1 for 5. It's 1 for 3 for Finney-Smith. Gabe Vincent 1 for 3. For the Lakers to win, and that's one of the things we know, they need to be hitting their threes.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to be hitting their threes. And I'm also counting on Minnesota to cool off a little bit. I mean, Naz Reid shot like Steph Curry. And
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great player, but I don't expect that to happen every time. Look, he had like 23
And just
points
look
off
at
the
their
bench.
thing. Look, Julius Randle 4 for 6, Jaden McDaniels 3 for 3, Mike Conley 2 for 3, Anthony Edwards 4 for 9.
Yeah,
And
basically they hit 21 from 42 from three, and when you do that, you're gonna win every playoff game. They're not gonna be hitting 21 or 42. They're not gonna be shooting 50% from three. So we
mhm.
can cross that off, right? Now, one thing I do have to say, which like, I was always defending. Everybody were like, "Oh, the Lakers don't have a center, blah blah blah. They cannot win. This move is for the future." I'm referring, of course, to the Luca trade, and I just, I'm sorry, but I never fell for that. It's true that they don't have a traditional center other than Jackson Hayes, but if you look at everybody else on that roster, I mean, we got Rui, LeBron, Luca, Austin Reeves. I think is the smallest guy, and what is he, like 6'4" or something? Dorian Finney-Smith, Jared Vanderbilt. They just have so many forwards on that team. I
Mhm.
mean, your point guard is literally, what is Luca? Is 6'6", 6'7", right?
I mean, if you count him as a point guard,
He's your
but yeah,
point guard. He brings the
yeah,
ball up the court.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
your
yeah,
point
yeah,
guard is a legit power forward size
yeah.
wise, and he gets a lot of rebounds.
I
Um,
think that what you're saying is completely true as far as size and length, and I think it's important, but size and length aren't rim protection. And Luka Doncic is not a rim protector. Rui Hachimura is not a rim protector. LeBron James is not a rim protector. He can get chased down blocks. He's a beast, but he's not your type of rim protector that can protect the paint.
right,
And neither,
alter the
yeah,
shots and make the guys kick it. Yeah, I know what you mean, but
yeah,
they played this kind of scrappy D, and it worked in the regular season. But
hmm
hey, what works in the regular season doesn't always work in the playoffs.
hmm
If I have to put my money today, I still put Lakers,
hmm
probably in 6 or 7.
hmm
I hope in 6. I don't want them to exhaust themselves too much.
hmm
They are going to be meeting the winners from the. Let's look at the bracket quickly. So they're going to be meeting the winners between the Rockets and the Warriors.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice.
Have you watched the game?
Yes, of course. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I stupidly did something that I'm not proud of. I posted a story with my son with Kobe, and I asked him, "Who do you think's taking it, Kobe?" And even he chose better than me. I just saw the Rocket go on like a 9-0 run to start the game. Um, they looked like they were locking up the Warriors. It looked like it's gonna be like one of those games where Steph just forgets that he's an all-time talent. And yeah, I just like I thought, okay, I thought this is gonna be a Houston Rockets we're here type of series, but man, they cannot make a shot to save their life.
hmm Look, I saw that Instagram post and I was smiling, and you put a survey who thinks, and 90% said the Warriors, and you thought the Rockets. I will say that I completely have the Warriors in the series, but I have them in I had them in 7 games, and I will stick to that 7 games because I think that the Rockets have much hanging fruit that they can improve on. And I saw, of course, the Warriors have many things that they can improve on, but I saw much lower hanging fruit for the Rockets to improve on.
I I don't know. I have to slightly disagree with you.
hmm
I feel like the Rockets just. I mean, if they make threes, sure, but the way that they play and the way they just insist to go to the paint and just lose the ball, and it was just. I felt like I was watching a game from the 90s.
It
Like
felt like that.
the
It
amount of
felt like
time
that.
they just went into the paint and they, hey, we have a 3 point line. We have like we're in 2025. We have guys like Grayson Allen chucking up 11 threes a game. Can we
Yeah.
really not find a guy who can just knock down some threes? Some?
Well, that's the thing here, and I mean that's where the low hanging fruit comes from. How many games are Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet gonna go 7 for 34 combined?
Wait, how much?
7 for 34. The Jalen Green was 3 for 15, and Fred VanVleet was 4 for 19, 2 of 13 from threes.
Oh
Okay.
Lord.
So 2 of 13 from threes, he will shoot better than that. And his shots were not Steph Curry shots. These were shots that he can make and he has made. And so I think that we're going to get improvement there. I don't know how many games we were, but I assume that we're going to have one. I assume we're going to have Jalen Green improvement. You're going to have a game where Dylan Brooks can hit some threes. Amen Thompson was absolutely lost in this one. And I think they were all at their absolute worst. And I think they can only go up from here.
Yeah, Alperen Şengün was the only guy who looked like an NBA player
And
yesterday.
Steven Adams. Actually, sorry, he looked more
Yeah.
like a giant.
I okay, well, before we jump into Steven Adams,
Yeah, no,
how do you feel about Jalen Green in general? Are you a Jalen Green guy?
that's it's a tough question. I think it depends where your standards are. When you say, "Am I a Jalen Green guy?" I think that he has a lot
Can
of
he be your
talent.
if you're a GM, do you see him as a franchise corner player?
No, I don't look at him as your number one player. I look at him having the potential to be to be a starting shooting guard, and a potential all-star as well in the league. He hasn't reached there yet, but he has shown improvement year by year, and even in the second half of this season in creation, in decision making, in efficiency at the rim, which was one of his biggest deficiencies before that.
Is it like just bad luck? But I feel like every time I watch this guy, he has like a bad game and just like completely doesn't back up the hype that I've been hearing about him. I mean, obviously, he averages 21. I don't know about his efficiencies. Let's have a quick look.
Not good.
But
His efficiencies aren't good, but they've
oh
improved.
god, is he 50% from the 3 point line?
No, that must be you must be looking at something I'm not sure what you're looking at
Oh shit, I'm
exactly.
looking at the playoffs. Sorry, I'm looking at the playoffs. Yeah, that doesn't make
Well,
sense.
I
But
know that
that's not a.
Jalen Green is not
Yeah, no, he's
50% in
80.
the
Yeah,
play
exactly. I was like, that's
free throw
Shaq's. That's
line maybe.
Shaq's. Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
think he said 3 points.
yeah. No, he's 81. Um,
So you mentioned about watching games. Did you happen to
field
catch the
goal.
last game the Warriors and the Rockets played in the
Yeah,
regular season 2 weeks ago?
the one where Eman Thompson kept Curry to 1 of 10.
And remember also, this was on a back-to-back for the Warriors after a 15-day road trip. It was actually they have there was actually they have about once a year. It was the only time this year that a team went on a 15-game road trip, came back, and had a back-to-back at home. So it was an intense. The Warriors were dead,
Yeah,
and when you watched that game, you saw it.
I mean, I still think defensively, like Houston can stick it to the Warriors, and they're still gonna give them some. There's gonna be a game where Steph is just gonna be like out of it, and is gonna be like 2 of 11 from three or whatever. There's gonna be this one game, right? I just think that this game that you're referring to did somewhat of a mental damage to the Rockets because they were like, oh, we can take this team, and they came maybe a little bit too, you know,
Yeah,
a little bit too confident, and they forgot that we're actually dealing with Steph instead of
yeah.
Jimmy.
And Draymond Green, he was awesome defensively. Draymond Green was awesome. And I said I choose them at 7. I meant I forgot that I was that they were that their Houston has home court advantage. So I changed my prediction from 7 to 6 now. But I do think that Houston will get 2 games here.
Draymond Green is the only player that can have 4 points, and we can confidently say that he was just awesome in this game.
And how many assists did he have? Like it wasn't that he was getting tons of assists, probably
He had
5,
he had 3 assists,
3.
3 steals, a block. But I mean, I'm a huge Draymond guy. I think that the amount of screens and ghost screens and amount of just chaos that he creates on offense, and the way he helps to unlock Steph, and it's just priceless, you know.
If we're on offense, did you see that pass that he had to Steph where Jimmy Butler, they were running a split action with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. And he wanted to find Steph, but Steph was guarded. So Jimmy gave the ball to Draymond, and Steph ran all the way around the court, all the way
Yeah.
around, or top of the key around, and Draymond somehow led him with the pass that was perfect for the layup. It was incredible. It was just embodies what the genius behind those two players together.
I mean, I honestly don't think Steph becomes Steph without Draymond Green.
I mean, I think Steph is gonna be the greatest shooter no matter what, but the Warriors definitely aren't the Warriors.
I'm just talking like hypotheticals, right? Right? Like
Uh,
if Steph is getting drafted and he doesn't have Draymond Green, I mean, he would probably still blossom as whatever. I just don't know if he becomes this Stephen Curry that we know.
well, I don't know if he has 4 championships, which is what makes him, which also gives him part of his pedigree of being who he is. And I don't
That's
think he
exa-
has that without Draymond Green.
that's
I
exactly what
still
I mean.
think
And
he's the best shooter of all time, but I don't know about
yeah, and
yeah.
he might, but he might have a more Damian Lillard like career of like just the team was never able to find the role players to complement you in a perfect way. Because when you have someone who loves to shoot so much and you put someone who can get him assists and doesn't like to shoot at all, but plays hell of a defense when he's not the best. It's just so perfect, you know. This couldn't
And
be
thank you
better.
for and for Steve Kerr too to build that system, create that system. You make that's an interesting point. Like, what if he was playing pick and roll offense somewhere like Damian Lillard? What if he was playing his whole career?
Yeah, he's not a great pick and roll point guard, and to be honest, this is one of my problems I have with all those ESPN. Is Steph Curry the biggest, the best point guard of all time? And I'm like, he's not even a point guard. Like he plays point guard sometimes, but he's more of a shooting guard.
Yeah, he is in his skills, I would say. I also think that the traditional positional classifications that we give are different than they once were.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, you have
like,
like
but I,
Milwaukee all of a sudden. All right, Giannis, you bring the ball up the court, or like the whole
yeah,
Zion point guard experiment in New Orleans.
I
Like you have,
actually, I actually look at positionally now less on what they're doing on offense and more of who they're guarding on defense. So Jokic brings the ball up too now, and this is something we'll talk about in their game because Zubac, he is guarding him. They want to keep him out. He's playing point. He was playing point guard half this game, but he has to guard a center, so I put him as center. Luca, I don't classify as a point guard because he's not guarding any. You have to put a point guard next to him. You have to put someone who can guard point guards next to him. And this is you could classify whatever you want, but I don't classify him as a point guard because you need to bring another point guard on your team around him, or at least someone who can guard point guards.
I agree with you that when we go into positions, the whole debate just collapses because I mean there was a point where they just started bringing up LeBron as one of the best point guards of all time, because basically since he got
Yeah,
to the Lakers, he's been playing point guard.
exactly. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
this whole position debate is kind of endless, and it's a very gray area.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Warriors, I think, kind of cemented the fact that we just play positionless basketball. We just switch the hell out of everything, and the hell with positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but now you're seeing kind of that was strong, and now you're seeing, and then we can get sorry we went off track from what we were doing, but now
Yeah,
that he's going
absolutely.
back to keeping a big on the back line, you have the Jared Allens, and Evan Mobley pairings, the Holmgren and Hartenstein pairings. But anyway,
I
sorry to take you off track.
no worries. We're gonna get to these. Yeah. So your prediction on the Warriors and the Rockets?
Um, my prediction is Golden State in 6, and I think, and I'll go into a little more because did get sidetracks. I think that Houston's defense is showed what they can do. I think they'll be better on offense, um, and I don't think that we can. Steph Curry was Superman yesterday. He was incredible. He was the best you can be, and Jimmy Butler was incredible as well. And I didn't see offensively much of a sign that the Warriors could be much better other than those 2. I don't see unle maybe Podziemski can hit a few threes, maybe Moody can hit a couple more threes, but I don't see where they can improve substantially on the fringes, where I do see that with the Rockets.
I do see one thing though.
Mhm.
Jonathan Kaminga.
I don't see him. Where is he?
Apparently, there's a beef with Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
been trying to
yeah.
like look into it. All I know is that like Steve Kerr just told him he's gonna still be benched. I think it's something with his attitude. I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it, but I think it's something with his attitude, and like in response, he didn't show up to one practice, and
Really? Where did you see this?
yeah, it's on. It's on. I can Google it now. I show you, but
It's all good, but I will
he's not
so
injured or anything. Like
I
Steve
know,
Kerr is
yeah.
kind of punishing him, and I think that's a huge risk for Kerr because like if this series goes like six
I
to
don't know
seven
that that's
games.
I mean, I'm interested. I'm not saying it's not true at all. I do think that, and I know from a basketball standpoint, it's really hard to play him now when you have Jimmy, and I don't think Jonathan Kuminga would have made this team better last night. I think there are certain matchups that he would be better in, but I don't know that how much he would have made them better last night and against this team.
Yeah, I guess once you put Jimmy, who doesn't like to shoot as well, and then you have
Yeah, you
like
can't. Yeah.
Jimmy, Jonathan, and Draymond, you still cannot tell me that you don't rather have like Jonathan Kaminga over like Santos or
So
freaking
Santos played how many minutes did he
Post,
play last night?
Quentin
N-
Post. Come on,
no,
man,
no. So I
give me
think that
Kaminga.
I get you, but Post, first of all, he's a great shooter. He stretches the floor. Kaminga isn't. Santos, I don't know how many minutes he played last night, but he's very good defender. So I'm not going to argue that he should be playing Santos over Kaminga, but it's more of playing Gary Payton II, Moses Moody, and Pajemski rather than putting Kaminga in, especially against these Rockets where you have Van Vliet and Jalen Green running around screens, and they need someone that's going to be attentive and be able to stick to those perimeter players, which Gary Payton and Pajemski have been better at, and Moody as well.
Yeah, Gary Payton is another mystery for me why he couldn't work in any other team, kind of like Horford in
Draymond.
the Celtics.
Oh yeah.
No, Gary Payton is like I think he went somewhere else and like didn't get any minutes, almost went out of the league. Then he comes back to the Warriors and then he's relevant and then he's good again and we talk about his defense.
He was
He's
injured on Portland, but he's been awesome lately, man. His defense, he's been
oh yeah
hitting
yeah no
threes.
he's I've been a huge Gary Payton guy forever. Um, yeah, so I think that Steve Kerr is playing with fire if he's like benching Kaminga just to make a statement or just out of personal reasons. If he's gonna lose this series and not play Kaminga, it's gonna take a lot of fire. I don't think they lose the series. I think that the combination of Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, and Draymond, whatever other two are with them, I think it's gonna be fine.
I
And
also, yeah, I don't know about that whole Steve Kerr thing. I can't imagine that he's playing him to make a point. I do think that they probably have beef. It's been a thing for a while now.
yeah, it's
But I
been a
don't
thing
think,
for a while, and I think Steph even
but
referred to it in one of the press conference, and like we need to play for each other or something. Like he was not happy with his role, was not happy with his minutes. I want your gamble on who gets ejected first in this series. Dylan Brooks. We got a few candidates here. We got obviously Draymond. I don't know who else. Who do you think gets ejected first in this series?
I think it's if Draymond Green and someone else at the same time. Now,
Yeah,
Dylan Brooks has been he was calm yesterday. I didn't see much, but it could be protecting his teammate. It could happen at any moment in this series.
I
But I think
I
that
think
Is involved in the situation where it happens.
I give it up to game 3, in which
Hmm.
Draymond and Dylan Brooks start swinging at each other. Maybe it turns into like a big scuffle and like few players get ejected. That would be nice. That would be spicy.
In the
But I
playoffs, so
believe
there.
that I believe that both of them gets ejected at least once. I hope Draymond is not messing up another series for the Warriors. Uh, if there is one, it's definitely like if he survives the Houston series without getting ejected, I think we're good.
Yeah, if he gets ejected, I think he knows what he's doing here. It's the first round of the playoffs. This is light work for him. He got a technical yesterday for pushing Şengün, and he knew what he was doing. He knew he was going to get a technical. This is all fun and games for him.
I love. I think it was Zach Lowe said that you know that in every playoff series, Draymond is gonna do something with his legs that's just gonna get him ejected.
Oh
Whether
yeah.
it's stepping on Sabonis or kicking LeBron in the nuts, it's just Draymond legs just always cost the Warriors some precious playoff games.
Oh yeah.
All right,
No, this is an interesting one for sure.
all right.
And little shout out to who I think was the best player on the Rockets yesterday. I mean, offensively, especially in the first half, it was Şengün, but Steven Adams was insane last night. He was incredible.
He just kept taking more and more offensive rebounds, and but the problem was that they couldn't score off these offensive rebounds. At some point, I wish me or one of my buddies from like pickup games would just be there just to knock down those open threes. It was just like so painful to watch, you know.
Man, they had him and Thompson on the court, and Şengün and Adams all playing together, and the Warriors were just packing. I was pausing the game every defensive possession. I was watching with my dad and showing him how they were defending as well, and they had 5 players in the paint every single possession. It was something something.
It was so 90s.
Hmm.
It was just the most 90s games I watched in a while. And I mean, the score I think at halftime was looked like a EuroLeague game or something, you know.
Well, the Rockets had like 30 points at some point. Not that they shouldn't have had 30 points.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of the opposite of okay. Um, We're gonna jump quickly into Clippers Nuggets.
which I think you mentioned the Lakers Wolves being the most interesting. This is I think this
Oh,
is my favorite series.
this is the most fun series by far
Yeah, cool, cool.
in the entire NBA.
Hmm.
I just think that these teams are very, very evenly matched, and we saw it in the first game. Um, I do think that the Clippers have the better team. The Nuggets obviously have the best player in that series. I think it will come down a lot to what the other guys are gonna do. And if
Russell
Mike,
Westbrook.
have you seen Jokic's comment about Michael Porter Jr.?
No,
Well, let me start by saying I never understood why they paid this guy. I think it was 150 million for 4 years or something.
he said that, or you're saying that.
Wait, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna start
Oh,
with
okay,
that. I'm just gonna say
okay.
I was never a big Michael Porter Jr. guy. I mean, he can shoot the basketball sometimes. He
Some
didn't
he's a
really do
really good
anything
shooter.
else. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a great shooter and he has a
Mm-hmm.
very nice form. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's very one dimensional, very average defender for his size. Decides to disappear in really important games as if he's not one of the top three highest paid players on a championship caliber team. I just think this is his last big contract, and I mean yesterday was a testimony for it. He scored 3 points. Their new coach forgot his name. He was kind of just protecting him because I mean he's basically like 6 days in his job and probably doesn't want to like be Michael Malone 2.0 like going against his players on media. But Jokic said basically, if you're not engaged at this part of the season, you just shouldn't be on the court. And I think he was benched at those last minutes of
Mm-hmm.
overtime.
Yeah, well, more than that, the whole second half of the fourth quarter, Westbrook was in instead of him.
Yeah,
And
and I
and
mean,
you're sure that Jokic is was referring to him?
I can look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's yeah. Jokic is
Wow.
doing the dirty work since Malone is gone, so somebody needs to be the bad guy.
Wow, that's look. Before that, I knew what Jokic said. I wasn't gonna say because I will play devil's advocate to Michael Porter Jr. in some ways. To your statement. But if Jokic said that, then I know Jokic is not saying that for no reason. Um, yeah, they need
Yeah,
Michael Porter Jr. in this series, and I thought
same
that
here.
I mean it wasn't a mistake because Denver won the game.
Yeah,
Ah, I see.
if you're yeah, Nikola Jokic asked what he can do to help Porter stay engaged, and he just said, if you're not going to be engaged right now, then you're not supposed to be playing this sport.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, for sure. And if he wasn't in, he wasn't engaged in the beginning, and they need him. He hit one nice three in the beginning. But I actually think that he's going to be crucial. In my opinion, he's going to be huge and crucial for the Nuggets if they're going to win even this series. I don't think that they can continue. Maybe I hope I'm wrong. I don't think that they will be continue to succeed playing Russell Westbrook in their closing lineups.
Yeah, there was a very interesting stat coming out of Ramona Shelburne column.
Hmm.
I heard it on the Bill Simmons podcast, but I just have to repeat it. I think they since they started tracking um, distance from shooters, this was the most open Russell Westbrook has ever been in a playoff game,
Hmm. It
which is just
was, I believe it.
yeah. I
If you
just think
ask me
it's
which player which had the most, I would say that I would say that one. Yes, it was a joke. I do think that there was a reason that he was playing. I thought that there was a reason that he was playing over Michael Porter Jr. aside from him not being engaged, is that he was a big part of their defensive scheme. He was playing as kind of a roaming guard defensively off of Chris Dunn when the Clippers were on offense and going to help on the back line and help wreak a lot of havoc, which Michael Porter Jr. is not capable of doing. So I thought that was
Mhm.
kind of where that was part of the big part of the decision to keep him in.
Yeah. I mean, I love Russ, and I wish him all the best. I wish him to keep making these amazing, huge shots in crucial moments. I think that if you run this play another 100 times, it's like Clippers are like, yeah, let's have Russ taking this shot.
Hmm.
That's basically what they would want, and Jokic is always gonna make that pass. I mean, he sees an open guy, he's gonna pass it. He plays the game the right way.
Hmm. As he should.
I just think that Denver doesn't come out of this series, and Jokic will and should be pissed at the
Hmm.
team that they've constructed around him. I mean, was it impossible to get a Malik Beasley on that team when you have like one of the best passers of all time?
I
Was
mean,
it
man,
a Grayson
yes.
Allen? I mean, wait, I'm gonna throw some more like low, you know what I mean? Low salary, high 3 point percentage guys. I mean, yeah.
Look,
You,
I
go ahead.
yeah, sorry. I think that it was from the beginning. We all thought it was a huge mistake that they let KCP go. It was ridiculous. Why are you letting this guy go? They need you and they need him on the team.
It started even earlier. It started right after the championship here with Jeff Green and Bruce Brown.
I mean, well,
And
Bruce Brown, they couldn't match that contract that he got. He got a $22 million contract
really, they
from
couldn't.
Pacers.
How much did he get?
Bro, you know, it was the Bruce Brown got paid $22 million a year by the Pacers.
All
One plus
right,
one.
wait. You go into the luxury tax. You go into the second apron. I understand teams want to stay under the apron, but you just won the freaking championship.
No, but I agreed with that. The
Bruce
that
Brown was huge against Miami in those finals. He was huge. I don't think they win those
Yeah.
finals without Bruce Brown. How do you let? I don't care. How do you let him go?
No, I mean that was why the Pacers paid him 22 million. It was way out of his market because they had
I
the
get
extra cap
it.
space.
I absolutely get it. But in my opinion, they should have just went deep, blowout through the second apron, and just figure the rest later. Just do a 1-for-1 swap if things don't work out. But like you just won the. I mean, hey, why can Boston keep their entire top 8 scorers after winning a championship, and Denver can't? And I mean, Boston is a huge market; they can attract players.
Well,
You're Denver. You better pay up those guys who are already here.
yeah, I mean they did have to pay Jamal Murray. They did sign him to a max contract, and I mean paying that much money for a sixth man is a lot. Now I respect your, but it's important to keep your players for sure. Jeff
Do
Green
you
is
let?
another. He got yeah. Jeff
Sorry.
Green
Do
got
you?
paid 10 million.
I mean, they should have done more. I mean, their owner is known to be a little bit cheap,
Cheap,
and
cheap.
I think that we're gonna look back at this Denver run and we're gonna say like Jokic actually played with no other All Star throughout his entire years. I
I
mean,
think
with
Jamal
all
Murray was an all-star one time, right? Yeah, he was.
He was never. I'm a huge
He
Jamal
was
Murray
never.
guy. He was never an All Star, and I think in the playoffs is not only an All Star, he's a freaking superstar. I mean, some of these games he's amazing.
Yeah,
But
we'll
then
see this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
last year wasn't really there, and yeah, I mean when you pay so much money to these guys and they're not really all stars, Michael Porter Jr. I don't even want to look at their salaries. Like it's yeah. Who do you
Yeah.
think is winning this series? And let's talk a little bit about the Clippers because we've been dissecting the Denver Nuggets right now.
The it's this one is really tough one to say. It's very tough. Am going to keep my initial prediction. Well, I had the Clippers in six initially. I still will take the Clippers. I do think that it's pretty 50-50 at this point. I don't know if it'll be in six or seven. Um, yeah, I could, I'll let you go. I can go into stuff there, but I'll let you tell.
Am I the only one who thought that the Clippers are going to be just fine letting Paul George going to Philly?
For this year, yeah, yeah, for
Like
probably. I mean, yeah.
I never really respected whatever Paul George was doing. I mean, he had this one year where he kind of carried them to the conference finals, which was awesome. But other than that, I mean, he
Last year
was
he had all
taking
NBA kind of season.
right, but he was taking 20, 19 shots a game probably. I'm not even going to look it up. When you just take these shots and give them to Norman Powell, who has been awesome every time I laid my eyes on him,
Hmm.
like you get basically the same production for less money. You get Derek Jones Jr., who's a very underrated player in my opinion,
Hmm.
and Yeah, and James Harden is still good. I mean, I know how much they love to trash him in the media, but he's still an amazing point guard.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard can still do Kawhi things. I just thought they're gonna be absolutely fine. Just give those shots to Norm.
You thought that Norm Powell had that in him this for the season that he had?
Every time I watched him play, he's making good percentage shots. But he's taking 10 of them because he's coming off the bench. If he'll make 20, you
Yeah.
basically have Paul George stats, which is basically what he had this
Very
year.
interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, he shot 40% from three this year. He's 20 points a game. I did not I would have I neither I or a majority of people, a massive majority of people would not expect that from Norman Powell.
When I saw they got
And
Derek Jones Jr. and Nick Batum as well, I'm like, okay, defense is gonna be good.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. But Paul George, hey, he was extremely efficient on the Clippers. He had a really good season last year.
I think that Paul George is secretly still riding the success he had from those early Pacers years, and we're still respect him a lot for that. But like other than that,
No,
like
I'm
is he a superstar? Like I don't think he's a
no.
superstar.
No, he's if you want to look at top players in the league, he's a top maybe 20 to 30 player in the league. Not now, obviously, but when he was doing well. He was third place for MVP on the Thunder.
Next to Russ, by the way, and Russ allows a lot of players to win MVPs next to him.
That's true. I mean, he has played with James
A
Harden,
lot of a, a,
And Kevin Durant, but yeah.
a lot of players had their best years next to Russ. I mean, he's a great passer. Uh,
Yeah.
anyway, this is this thing I started doing in the last years. Whenever I look up a game, the first thing I look is like how many shots, because just looking at the points can be very deceiving, right?
Of
Because a guy
course.
can get 30, but he can be like 9 of 28 or something,
Of
you know.
course. Of course. Of course.
So when I it also kind of tells you a story about the hierarchy in the team, right?
Hmm.
If you check the Celtics, there you always have like Tatum and Brown. They have like their 19 shots, and then the rest can eat maybe 9 to 12 shots. You know, the other role players. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Porzingis maybe get 9 or 10 if he's lucky. So like, it tells you something about the hierarchy in the team. Obviously, you can change that. You can say, "Hey, Derek White, you're number 2 now. You take 20 shots a game." You know,
Hmm.
they're just about the topic of
It's really important also, and it's like you're saying, it's a good way to see if you think that Norman Powell can have a higher amount of can take a higher diet of shots, then that's a good way to think when you're constructing a team. I will say one
right.
more thing, yeah,
You go ahead.
is that being the third best player on the team, which Norman Powell was not. I mean, when he was on the court, he was usually playing without Paul George or Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
Um, but when you are the third best striker right now, Norman Powell has the advantage of in this playoffs, and I think they did not utilize it enough of being guarded by Jamal Murray. And they only ran, I think I can remember only two pin downs. You know I mean that he comes running off the left wing, curling down into the where he's so efficient on, and they were easy basket. And I thought they can they were it was it's he's playing as Jamal Murray, that they can continue to attack that, and they didn't do it enough this game,
He needs to get more. He need to get more shots. Yeah,
for
I
sure. How
agree.
many shots did he have? 12 shots.
Yeah, he took
All
12
right, for
shots. That's
12.
not enough. And
I think he had a couple at the end of the quarters as well.
that's something that I learned watching NBA for so many years. You always think like, oh no, this guy left them. What is gonna happen? You always think like, oh, they're gonna like collapse and die. But like, there is a certain amount of possessions, and these possessions are gonna go to someone else. And there is so much talent nowadays in the NBA. There's so many
Mhm.
players that are just ready to take the leap if they'll just get the chance. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, you cannot tell me. I'm sorry that I'm keep going back to Derek White, but like, if you take Derek
He's
White right now and you just tell him like,
you can talk about him as much as you want. He's
yeah, I don't know why I just like have him in my head right now because it's a great example. He scored 30 last night, whatever. I don't even know if we're gonna talk about the East, but you take him and you tell him now you're the second best player. Like you get the second most amount of shots in I don't know Dallas or Portland. You can't tell me that this guy doesn't turn into like an all star and have like all NBA numbers and whatever. You know what I mean? I mean
a
the
hundred
percentage are
percent.
there.
Well, Derek White is he's in a tier on his own for non-stars, I think. For non-all-stars, if you're looking at guys who are stars, but like in their roles, he's in his own tier. He's the superstar of being a non-star.
Yeah,
Of being a
he's on a reduced role, but that's what I'm saying.
exactly.
Like shots
If
are
he
gonna go
did,
to someone,
yeah,
and that's why I was never like, okay, Paul George is gone, so what? Like, was he even that efficient? It was okay,
yeah, he was very efficient. He was very efficient. But there
but he
is
also
something
needs the
to.
ball a lot, right?
I mean, that's kind of his why he's attractive, that he can play off the ball, but he does need the ball a lot because what are you paying him 30% of the salary cap, or 30 to 35% of the salary cap for if he's not going to
Yeah,
have the ball in his hands? And on
exactly,
little side
exactly.
note, because you got into a really important it's a matter or the topic in basketball is nowadays is because of the talent and exactly what you're saying, you have a lot of players that are getting paid bigger contracts who are not like Paul George is a very good player and he's efficient. You look at a guy like Brandon Ingram who's not efficient, needs the ball in his hand. Even guys like Trey Young, who creates a lot off of his passing, but he needs the ball in his hand. He needs
Hmm.
it, and it creates mediocrity to a team. So you
Yeah,
really need to be really, 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 really good and efficient, and provide something really special to lead a team to this level of the playoffs.
I'm gonna ask you a question because I know everybody likes to talk about Paul George's. Oh, but defense. Well, what about his defense, right? I'm going to share something with you, and I want you to guess. Like, we're looking at defensive box plus minus,
Yeah.
which normally tells you who are the best defenders in the league. Obviously,
Uh
you
huh.
got Nikola Jokic at the top. You got Victor Wembanyama, Isaiah Hartenstein, Kyle Anderson, Sabonis, Giannis, Alex Caruso,
Yeah.
Shea. I mean, all known for great defender. Where do you think Paul George ranks?
Look, I'm gonna start by saying that I don't look at this as that at this stat as gospel.
Not gospel, but all of these guys are known to be great defenders. And I
Sabonis
mean,
is number five or six here. I can't take it seriously.
he's not a bad defender, and
He's
I mean he's providing a lot
he's
of defense for a team with that doesn't have that much defense. I don't think Sacramento
mm,
are a
I don't
defensive team.
no, they're definitely not, but he's definitely not
It's not
that's
gospel,
what's
right? But like, where would
yeah.
you expect Paul George to be, being considered the all-world defender that he is? I mean,
What
Alex
is he?
Caruso is seventh.
I don't think Paul George is an all-world defender. I think he used to be. I think he's a good help defender. I don't think he's a great on-ball defender anymore, but he's still a
All
positive
right,
impact and
all
I
right.
thought what is he
Just gonna do
ranked?
this. Wait, we're just gonna do. It's not even the first Paul. Like you got Chris Paul ranked above him. By the way, underrated
But
defender.
of course, but I mean to say that Chris Paul is a better defender
No,
than
obviously not. But like,
yeah.
I mean, the minutes that he's on court. All right, Paul Reed is the second Paul on that list, and you got Paul George all the way down at 70, at the same
Uh-huh.
place with James Harden under guys like Precious Achua. I just don't think he's a great defender. I mean, if you watch the
But
game,
that
he's just
he's
he's
look,
not a
he's a lot better than James Harden. He's a lot you have Josh Giddey above him.
is he a lot better than
Like
James Harden? Do you know that James Harden like always leads the league in deflections? Like deflections matter.
man, James Harden is a big detriment in other ways, man. It's huge detriment and off-ball defense. He can't stay in front of man. You have to switch. Makes so many mistakes. I watch him sometimes and I get so pissed he doesn't make rotations. He's lazy on defense.
I
Paul
had
George is a good yeah.
I
Sorry.
had I had a very heated debate with one of my basketball buddies here in Zurich. He told me prime Paul George over prime James Harden, and I just went ballistic on him. I was just so angry.
I guess I mean what's in what state like and what is he saying just like who you want on your team?
You got prime Paul George and you got prime James Harden stepping on the court, and you're like building a team to win the championship or to I don't know what to win a game, whatever. I don't even think there's a question like
I will
prime
say no, you're
prime
right.
James Harden is
100%.
like
100%. No way. No way. James Harden, since that's not a question. To play devil's advocate, Paul George does play the most important position. So it's like something that to have a good wing that can defend, which James Harden was never a good defender.
can
Uh,
defend, could defend 4 years ago.
yeah, in his prime. We're talking about his prime. We're not talking about now.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah,
No, I
no,
just
no.
hate
I
the
still,
amount of love and the amount of money that he's getting.
bro,
Where
people, I don't know. All these hoopers, these young hoopers love him. They like, I don't know where it's from.
He's fun. I mean, he's fun to watch. He gives you those 360s, those like whatever. He has a very fun mixtape, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think he's a really good player. I think that he's a really, really good player.
This has
Off
turned
ball and
into
ball.
a Paul George
Yeah.
discussion.
Why? Yeah,
Uh,
why?
because
He shouldn't
I
be
feel
getting
like
any talk at all with his shitty ass season in his contract. We shouldn't
yeah,
even be talking about
podcast
him.
P. You should be podcasting here with us.
Yeah.
It's probably in Cancun or something. But anyway, yeah. So I I I th- I think the Clippers are coming out of this series, uh, assuming everybody are healthy and Kawhi doesn't go out. I think that the Clippers are taking it in seven, but I cannot put my house on it. I mean,
For
anything can
sure
happen
not.
in this series. Like
Yeah.
it's.
Do
I
you
think we're
give
gonna
do you
have
when
like
sorry.
no. I
When
just think we're
you
gonna have like 5 out of 7 like really tight games. You know.
yeah, I agree. When you think about when you make a decision, does the coaching have an influence on your decision? The fact that
Coaching.
the fact that they've gone through this coaching change, it's a new coach, who knows what they're how they're like how the team dynamic is going. There's obviously something based you could see on Jokic's comments after a win to be saying negative things. And then on the other side you have Ty Lue.
Yeah, actually, like I learned to respect Ty Lue a lot by just watching what he does off the timeouts, and I kind of get the love that he's getting. I didn't get it why when he won the championship in Cleveland because LeBron was the coach, um, but I do think he's a great coach. And you're right, I should be factoring it in. Obviously, the Clippers are very well coached. Van Gundy, Jeff Van Gundy has been their defensive coach. Everybody been praising his work.
Mhm.
I just think they're the deeper and better team. And even if you look at just yesterday's like shot distribution, and they just have more guys. They have more guys who can show up. In my opinion,
And they can play Zubac more minutes. Oh, actually, they can play him like 3 more minutes a game, but they don't need to right now.
I mean
And
they
I
put
thought they
in
were really
49. I think like
yeah, yeah, they were really
let the
killed in
big
those
zoo
Ben
rest.
Simmons yeah, that's true, but I was just thinking when Ben Simmons was in playing center, it was like it was not looking good.
Do you think Ben Simmons gets a contract next year in the NBA?
Maybe a minimum. Does he want to play for a minimum contract? This guy, does he want to even play? I don't know.
Does he
Like
want to play basketball at all?
I mean, this guy could retire today, and his kids and his grandkids could, that no one has to work for a day in their lives.
Interesting side note here. I've watched a YouTube video that shows that Ben Simmons actually did like horrible investments with his money. He bought like mansions in Philadelphia, and like you can't really rent out mansions. He didn't bought like apartment buildings or something smart. And he bought like a lot of luxury cars and stuff. I don't know. I didn't have the time to really go into it, but it sounds like a Ben Simmons thing.
Yeah, his financial advisor was telling him, "You should get a house." No, I want a mansion. I want a mansion.
I think this is like the biggest fall off a cliff of any potential young star in the history of the league, probably. Just because of one bad game.
If it's not because of an injury too, like if it's something that happened non-injury related, then yeah, I mean,
It's
probably.
it's like the boy who cried wolf, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I think you're right. I mean, you've had players that have gotten injured and they've never come back the same. And obviously he did get injured with his back, but this isn't about his back anymore.
Yeah, he got injured in his head after
And his,
that.
uh, I don't know how I was gonna say something else, but I don't know how. I
I
was
mean,
just,
hey, we're live, and I don't
I
know
mean,
if
he got
maybe like
injured in his vagina.
I think it's the new media. It's like Trump uh, unregulated social media, so you can kind of say
Oh
anything.
yeah.
Yeah, he basically he got injured in his vagina. That's a good one. Yeah, I have zero respect to him, especially that season when like Embiid was just playing his heart out and the guy would just not show up on the court and just
Look, there's not
like
a lot of players I don't have respect for. Like even for him, I don't disrespect. I don't know him. I don't know what he's going through. I don't know his story, but it's hard to. If there's any player that I don't respect or that I can question, it's him.
By the way, you probably don't remember that, but that's one of the reasons why I'll never have full respect for Kawhi because he was healthy that last year when San Antonio went against the Warriors. I think it was the first or second round or whatever. He was healthy. He was cleared by the team's doctor, by the best organization in basketball doctor,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
was like, "Nah, my private doctor say I can't play just because he wanted to go to LA." And then they traded him this off
You
season,
think
you
that
know.
was
But
just because he wanted to go to LA?
yeah,
'Cause I mean, that's not public. That's not it's not been public news. That's not like a fact, is it? No, he's never claimed it.
come on. He wanted a max contract in LA. He always knew he wanted to go to LA. He went to LA the first time he became a free agent and basically never left.
Well, to be
And
on the other side, he's never been able to stay healthy, so maybe he knew. I mean, um, he has this degenerate issue in his knee. So I'm thinking maybe that's more of the. I mean, I think that it could be real. I mean, I know it's. Anyways, I
yeah,
love Kawhi. I love his passion. I
I
love
love
Kawhi.
watching him. I hate the fact that he didn't play for San Antonio, and honestly, they've never been back since. Like they could never build anything moving forward from that, you know. And he was their guy. He was like their new, you know, franchise player. He was supposed to continue carrying the torch for this awesome franchise.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I, I just don't like players who are not loyal to their
yeah,
organization, especially when they're under contract. I mean, it's
yeah,
okay if you know, and you had a good team, and you had a
yeah.
like
And your MVP candidate,
yeah. I mean, you won a championship there. You're playing with all time greats. It's their last run. Come on, give your best. Don't just
Yeah,
sit
when you're
out
under
there.
contract, you have no like you should. It's but you should get your what you want. I mean, but when you're under contract, perform your duties that you're under contract for.
Do your best, right? I just can't deal with people who just don't do their best. You know. All
Yeah.
right. We gotta move on to the last series in the West.
Uh-huh.
We got the Thunder and the Grizz.
Really
Um,
close game. It was really a nail biter. I wasn't
really,
sure who
really
was gonna
close.
win for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Um, I don't know what to say. It feels like Memphis kind of squeezed into these playoffs by mistake. This is the last season of Ja Morant in Memphis, in my opinion. I think
Interesting.
that I think they're gonna be shopping him around. I think this nucleus obviously is not working, or it's just
Question
not.
is, it'll be interesting to see who's gonna take him, what they'll offer, and if it's gonna be enough for Memphis to get off of him. Very interesting question.
I don't really know his contract situation. I'm assuming he has like
He's on a
a
max.
few
He
years
has a few
left.
years. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I just don't know how many years left.
but a lot of teams are going to be very careful about taking him in. I think his value is low right now. He relies on playing on this Memphis team who's succeeded when he's been missing so many games. They've been good, but he just can't play enough. He's a heliocentric player who relies on his own athleticism. Who's now entering he's passing the physical prime of his career. He's entering the normal NBA prime, but this is the age that where these small point guards often start to lose some of what they have physically.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't know. I was pretty high on the Memphis Grizzlies. They were a second seed at some point this season, and they still talk about being the second seed. I don't know, second seed. Like I don't know, what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Uh, and like I think it was Ryan Casilla said, "Can somebody just give them like a second seed banner or something?" Because they just
Yeah. Look, their management, the way they constructed this team is like the fact. Look, I'll tell you, the when I see Marvin Bagley playing substantial minutes in the playoffs for this team, they made a huge that it's that they're made huge mistakes with their roster construction, and they've been. I mean, I could. This isn't a topic for this pod, although it could be. I mean, they've chosen to not bolster their roster year after year when they've had so many assets to go get a wing player that could play alongside Jaw and Desmond Bain. But they said no, we want to keep Vince Williams, and he's our guy, our future. We'll give up Kyle Anderson so uh, D'Anthony Melton, so we can, because we know that John Conchar and Jake LaRavia are the future of our team. Guess what? They didn't even give LaRavia an option. They got Marcus Smart. They offloaded a first round pick to get rid of Marcus Smart, and guess what? He'd be
Why?
a lot better because he's the money. Man, they don't want to pay him. It's contract stuff in the
Yeah,
middle of the
like I
season.
feel like you can't be cheap when you're a small market team. And you were talking about Marvin Bagley. It was only -11 last night.
I
Desmond
don't
Bain
care what
was,
you.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, only.
Desmond Bain was a -51, but I mean he was like, yeah,
Man,
um,
about
minus
the game.
51 for a game, -51 for a game. The 27 minutes that Desmond Bain was on the floor, the Memphis Grizzlies have been outscored 51 points in 27 minutes.
27 minutes.
That's insane. I don't think I've
That
ever
is
seen
insane.
anything like that in a playoff game.
That's in 2 quarters. In 2 quarters, they were outscored by 50 in 2 quarters of play with him.
Yeah.
I will tell you something, but you said that you thought that Memphis kind of snuck their way in. I think maybe I think that, I mean, I think they deserve to be there. I think they're even better than a lot of 8 seeds that in general. Because I watched this game yesterday,
I
and
watched them a lot and I love them. I loved watching them.
yeah, I watched this game yesterday, and I wasn't thinking how bad is Memphis. I was I was insanely impressed at the highest level at this Oklahoma City Thunder defense. It's something that I've never seen in my years of being a fan, watching a team this locked in together on defense and playing so well together. If anyone hasn't seen that first half of the game yesterday, I recommend watching it. It was
A defensive clinic.
incredible. It was incredible. It was the way their rotations, the way they're packing the paint, the way they're guarding I've never seen a team so bought in, playing so well. And I've been watching them all year, but they didn't skip a beat and they just played with that much more intensity with it being the playoffs.
Shea Gilgeous Alexander, their MVP candidate, most likely the MVP of this season, has scored 15 points, and it did not bother them to blow out uh, the Memphis Grizzlies by 50 points. And there's so many
Wait, so
things I want to say,
yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
just gonna start with one. Do you know these kind of teams that you look back a few years later and you like, can you believe all these guys were on one team at some point? And I think this Oklahoma City Thunder is just gonna become one of these teams. It's gonna become way too expensive to hold all these guys. And in like 5 years, we're gonna go. Can you believe that like Isaiah Joe and Kayson Wallace and Aaron Wiggins were all in the Thunder, and now like all of them have like a second or first role somewhere else or something. I might be wrong about it, but I just cannot explain what we're seeing otherwise, other than like there is just so much talent over there
Yeah. You mean
that
like the
just
Thunder 10 years ago? Like the same team
basically,
10
yeah,
years. Yeah.
exactly. That now we're looking back and we say, can you believe that Russ Harden and Kevin Durant all played together, and all of this blew up because of $4 million over 4 years that Rockets gave him
Yeah.
over to Harden. I made a video
Yeah.
about it, by the way. Check it out in my channel, guys. I
Oh,
called it. I called
nice.
it. I called it biggest mistake in NBA history. But now I can just throw it down the toilet
I
once the Luca trade happened. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that Sam Presti has learned from that, and I think we've already seen how much he's planned for their future. He already has Aaron Wiggins on extremely team-friendly contract that he signed him to for 4 years this year, same as Isaiah Joe. So they have them on on contract for the next 4 years at extremely friendly rate, especially with the cap rate going up. Hartenstein, I don't see how they're going to keep, but they got him perfectly 2-year window. And obviously, Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams are going to be there are going to be, uh, if not max, close to max players going forward, along with a super max for Shea. So it will be difficult to pay the guys around them.
When you think about like their starting five, I'm just gonna put Hartenstein out of it because he was like injured for so many parts of the season, and I would just say like Jay Will, Chat, Dort, Shea, and let's say Alex Caruso, he was starting some games, you can confidently say that Shea is like the fifth best defender on this team, and he's like such an amazing defender.
I think he's an amazing. I think he's an amazing defender for his
No,
role in
I,
offense.
I know, but
Yeah.
he's an amazing defender. No discussion. Like if you watch basketball, you know that he's a great defender. I'm just saying, like of these five that I just named, he would be the fifth best.
Hmm. Yeah.
Alex Caruso is a better defender. Jay Will is like bigger and I think a
J
better
Dub.
defender. Chet,
J Dub.
J Dub,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, Chet is definitely a better defender, and Dort is. So this like just tells you how crazy talented this team is on defense, like historically talented.
Man, J Dub is, I think, is all defensive type player. He's incredible. Like yeah, I agree with what you're saying. And they're, all of them are just all of those guys. I
And
would say, except for Shea,
Alex
are
Caruso,
all defensive. Well, if you
Alex
include
Caruso
Alex
has just been
Caruso, it's
he's
all
he's
defensive team.
he's been top in every defensive category for like the last 4 or 5 years, I think.
Hmm.
It doesn't lie, you know. And I mean, when you just watch the game, he'll always give you like two extra possessions just with his steals, even like very limited minutes, you know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, this team is scary, and I just wonder how far do you think they go?
I think they're winning the championship.
I think so too.
Yeah, I don't see how. I mean, it's definitely possible that they lose, of course, but they're so good. They're too good.
They're too good, and I think that yeah, as you say, like the cap is going up and everything. I still think that they have some things to figure out, and some guys are gonna want their money. They have three first rounds in this upcoming draft, three first round picks,
Hmm.
which obviously it's just unplayable. Like you don't want
Hmm.
to take three first rounders and just sit them on the bench,
Hmm. And they
which
don't have
means you
the
kind of
rosters. They don't have.
you don't
They don't
yeah
have
you
the
don't have the
salary
roster
for it
spot.
either.
Like
Roster spots or salary for it.
I mean salary you can play them all on rookie contracts. That's fine,
Rookie
but
contracts are high in the lottery. I think they have a 15th pick. It's higher than the minimum, and they need minimums right now.
yeah, I see what you mean. But either way, like you can't really draft three guys in the same. Not with this kind of team. I mean, if you're Portland or Washington, sure,
Hmm.
but which I'm getting to my next point here. They need to. They kind of need to push these some of these chips into the table and say, hey, let me get like a Kevin Durant or I don't know. Uh,
I was thinking about that. Them getting Kevin Durant would be pretty crazy, and
it can
mhm.
save Kevin Durant's like legacy if he goes back there and win a chip with them.
That'd be awesome. It would be really awesome. Question is, what would they give up? What players? What salary roster spot?
Oh,
What salary cap
just
spots are
these
they giving back?
just these three firsts this year. So like Phoenix can just basically draft three players.
And they have to give them the
Um,
salary back. They don't have extra salary to give them, so that's where you run into the issues because
wait,
you have all
Phoenix is
these
over the luxury, right?
second. They can't take no, but it's even Oklahoma
Phoenix,
can't.
sorry, Phoenix is over the second apron, right?
Yeah, I mean they could take back less. It doesn't matter. They can
Oh,
take back
sorry.
less.
You
But the
have to do
question,
one for one when you're over the second apron. You cannot aggregate. So they
no,
cannot get like three or four players from Oklahoma and then send
they
Kevin
can't.
Durant. It has to
They
be a one
can't.
for one.
No, that's
No,
only when.
if you're over the
No,
second
no,
apron, you can't.
no. But you have it mixed up. You
Oh, so
can
they're so OKC is not, so they can do that, right?
they if they Phoenix couldn't trade three $10 million players for a max contract player. They couldn't aggregate three players for one, but they can send out players. They can send out a player
Okay,
for yeah.
my bad.
All good.
So yeah, so you're saying like yeah, we need to get rid of yeah. I don't know if I do that if I'm OKC, to be honest.
Well, and you really can't because they have either players on max contracts, which are they're not going to give up Jalen Williams. They're not going to give up Shea
Exactly.
Gilgeous-Alexander. And their other players, they could give up Hartenstein. That'd be interesting. They could do that for Hartenstein, and he's an expiring contract, which would give Phoenix flexibility going forward. So that's an interesting one because he makes 20 something a year, but you still need to come up with another 20 something million dollars, which they don't have because all the rest of their guys are in rookie contracts.
Yeah, and basically it basically gives Phoenix another one or two first rounders that maybe another team pushes for Hartenstein and then like kind of even helps their rebuild even more.
Yeah,
because
and
I
they
mean
could give
to finish.
Caruso too,
I don't think they give Caruso, but I don't think he's is that expensive. You know.
no, he's 20 he's getting paid 20 million. They already gave him a contract, so that would be the matching salary. It would have to be Isaiah and someone else, and I think Dort is more important to the Thunder than Caruso.
Let's just look at their salaries quickly.
I mean, he's making
Uh,
9 million this year, but he's signed a contract
I
extension,
guess if you want to get KD, you have to stack up Isaiah Joe.
which is fine.
I
Well, you're okay
guess.
with doing.
Yeah, I guess you're right about Caruso. Maybe like Kenrich Williams or Cason Wallace, one of them. Or maybe with some of these Dieng and Topic and some of these guys who don't really see court.
I mean, I don't know about you. I'm super high on Casey Wallace. I would not want to be trading him if I'm OKC. I think that's your starting shooting guard for the future to play or to play alongside Jalen Williams and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Would you keep him over Caruso?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I'll tell you why. Not because Caruso isn't a better defender right now. Of course he is.
He's
Casey Wallace
31.
has he's 31. He can only play 20 minutes a game. He can't play more than that consistently for the past years. He's injured a lot, and Casey Wallace has shown a lot of upside offensively too. I think that he can attack off the dribble. He can play off ball better. He's showed signs. He hasn't been shooting the ball great this year, but I think he's shown signs that he could be a good shooter in the future. I would
He's
definitely
35% for the year. 30,
yeah, he started
46%
really
for the
poorly.
season.
He's really I think that he's the type of player that he's your future fourth best player. He's your future Drew Holiday, your future Aaron Gordon.
Wouldn't you say Aaron Wiggins?
No, I don't see Aaron Wiggins. I think he's a good player, but I think he is uh
I
overrated
think
defensively.
I think Aaron Wiggins is one of the best contracts in basketball right now.
Oh, he's
Having
a great
showing those
contract.
having showing those flashes of giving you those 40.
40, yeah, he had 40 points
Yeah.
in a game.
And like
Yeah.
that's a guy on a 10, 9, 8 receding contract for the next what,
Incredible.
4
It's
years. Like
incredible.
it's such a
Yeah,
good contract.
incredible, really. That's why they're in
Yes.
better position now than they were, and I think that they learned very well from that Harden trade that they made a big mistake, and they're not gonna let that happen again.
I think that if it's not OKC, and I don't think they do it. Just why shake this roster? It looks so good. Even if they do make it to the finals and lose to Boston in 6 or 7, I think they just run it back and say fuck it. I think
Look,
The Rockets would be the more impulsive franchise to target Kevin Durant, and they also need him more.
look, I do not think that the Thunder need to go out and get Kevin Durant for sure. That's a very uh big move to make. You know, I think they're just like you said, they're so good right now, and yeah, they'd have to. But yes, about Houston, yes, about Houston getting Kevin Durant, it makes sense. I do think the Thunder can upgrade with everything that they have. I think they could get another creator who can shoot threes and spread the floor a little bit. I think that'll be nice. Like last year, I thought it was a Larry Markkinen. I'm not sure that he's. We'll see how good he is going forward, but someone who can just play inside in that ecosystem without ruining it, but can provide more shooting and sport floor space. And I think that would make them even better offensively.
Larry Markkinen?
After this year, I
No,
thought he
no.
would be really good last
I'm
year.
just making sure I know who you're talking about. Just because I was looking up Houston's salary, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I was saying last year I was thinking a player of that player type would be perfect for the Thunder going forward. That is a player that they could upgrade with. But
It's
after
like more
this
of a
year,
marginal, like a marginal move, and not go all in and like.
they
Yeah,
have their
no. I
superstar. Yeah.
honestly, if you ask me, I do that. I take Larry over KD. I think that KD doesn't have enough left in his tank. I think that
We'll
KD is gonna
see.
get another injury in the next. Hopefully not. Like I love
I
watching
mean,
him
if there's
play.
any player team that's good for him to play on, it'd be the Thunder. You wouldn't have they could play him 25 minutes a night and it would be
Right,
enough.
right,
And
right,
then
right.
which would be really it's an interesting idea because these windows, you say you should just run it back, but we've seen so many times. That was like when the Memphis were second place. Oh, we'll just run it back. We got the next 10 years. But that time never comes. A lot of the time, anything could
Right.
happen. And
You're so
so
right.
when you see the opportunity, I'm not saying that Kevin Durant is, but it could be to seize it. It's important to.
That's what Matt Ishbia thought. and now he's stuck with the most expensive 10 seed in NBA history. Their salary, like their guarantee, $220 million. That's just so
Wait, sorry, say it
sad.
again.
Look at this. They're guaranteed $220 million. Just like for reference, Houston is 150, and OKC. Sorry, so OKC is 140. Sorry, OKC is at 114 million, and the Phoenix Suns are like $100 million over that.
And
The
25% of that, I think, or more than 25, 140, 220. Yeah, about 25% of that, like a little under that is going to Bradley Beal. He's
Yeah,
getting paid must be like 50 million a year, I think. Yeah, 50.6.
increasing year by year.
Or
I
no,
want us
50.
to.
Yeah,
We're not gonna do this.
57. Yeah.
Yeah, 57 in 2 years. There's another. Yeah, I can't stop smiling. This makes me laugh so hard. I'm sorry.
That makes me feel sad, honestly. I like Booker, I like Durant.
I don't like Durant. I love Booker. I'll never forgive Durant for what he did to LeBron's legacy, and I
You
just
mean
think
by joining the Warriors
yeah, I just think he messed up the entire
ecosystem,
balance. Yeah, the entire
the balance of
balance.
the
And I mean, the league was very competitive back then. There was great battles between OKC,
Oh yeah.
Houston, the Warriors. The playing field was leveled. You had like San Antonio. All of a sudden, he goes there. There's not even a point watching anymore. It was like
Yeah.
16-1 throughout the
Yeah.
playoff. I mean, come on, KD. Like you can't do that when you're like a top five, arguably top three players in the NBA. Go join the team who beat you 3-1. I mean, that's just such an old take, but like I'll never forgive him for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't those kind of things don't really bother me. I let people do them and I don't say that you're wrong for that. I just for me it doesn't never really bothered me.
I just want to watch competitive basketball,
Yeah,
and he wasted 2 years of my life watching uncompetitive basketball in the playoffs.
that's true. Yeah. I remember we were together back around that time when the
Right?
last year of his thing when we watched Kawhi Leonard turn into Kawhi Jordan, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The time when he became the
In the
official
play.
Giants later. But
Yeah.
we both know that if KD doesn't go down, or you know what, even if Clay doesn't go down, I don't think that the Raptors are winning this
Oh
series.
yeah. 100% not. I mean, there's no
Did
chance.
didn't the Warriors finish the job against, was it the Rockets or the Blazers without KD?
Yeah, he went out for a month and before the finals and then came
Uh,
back in early and ended up tearing that Achilles. He was out with something else. He was out with a calf
calf,
injury
yeah, the calf, yeah.
and he ended up coming back and injuring that Achilles on the same foot.
That was the year for the Blazers or the Rockets to finally get through that Warriors barrier. But yeah, unfortunately they couldn't.
Yeah, there wasn't
Um,
yeah. That was the year actually that I think it was the year, I might be wrong, but that the Rockets missed 27 straight threes in game 7 at home. Do you know
right.
about this? Yeah.
Yeah. There was without KD, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah. Yeah.
but without Chris Paul as well. Anyway, we've been going on and off. I think this sums up pretty well our first podcast. We're just gonna do our official bets one more time, and let me just go back to the bracket.
What are we betting?
Nothing. Just see who was more right. We just revisit it in a few days and see who was more
I
right.
can't
So
wait.
yeah. So okay, let's just say our bets. So Grizzlies, Lakers. Sorry, Grizzlies, OKC. I say it's a sweep. It's
Sleep,
a
me
four.
too. I'm with you
Yeah.
on that.
All right. Nuggets, Clippers.
I have let's go. I had Clippers in 6 before. Let's see if to make it to 6 games, to win in 6 now, that means they have to win 4 of the next 5 games.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Clippers in 7,
I'm
even
gonna
though
say
it's in
Clippers in
Denver.
7 too.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for them to win in Denver, but it's definitely possible. Usually it's but yeah,
I think Jokic might run out of gas by then. I mean,
it's true.
the
I
way his
mean,
team looks right now.
yeah.
Lakers, Timberwolves. I say Lakers in seven.
Lakers in 7 with not full heart after that first performance.
I'm still on a full heart. Even Lakers in five.
I didn't even. You know how
I
much
think
I don't
LeBron. I
say.
think you
Yeah.
know that we keep forgetting that LeBron can just take over. Can just say, "Aight, Luca, it's not working. Give me the ball," and he's still
Yeah, I
able.
wanna. I'm looking forward. We didn't talk, and I know we're closing up, but I'm looking forward to those. There was a couple plays where they interacted with one another, which we didn't see a lot of, like pick and rolls, them screening for each other, and those were really special plays. So I'm hoping to see more of that.
I think that if Luca, if the game starts to develop the same way Game One did, I think LeBron is just taking over, and we've seen it happening in the regular season where they just saw that okay, Luca and Austin Reeves can't really find their rhythm. Aight, Bron, take over.
I would love to see that. I would love to see him drop 45, but I want him to save it. I want him to save that for when they play the Warriors next round.
True. Um, Rockets Warriors.
I have Warriors in 7, or sorry, Warriors in 6. What am I saying? Warriors in 6.
Yeah, I had Rockets in like 6 or 7 before. I think I'm tending to say like Warriors in five or Warriors in six right now. We need to remember we always say like seven because it's so hard for us to decide who's the better team, especially after just one game. But we need to remember that most series don't actually go 7 games.
I choose 7. I usually don't choose 7 for if I think the away team's winning. In the Clipper scenario, I will because they're already down 1-0. But usually statistically, the home if the away team wins, if the lower seed wins, it's usually in 6.
Yeah, I just want to show you something. Uh, this is the bracket from last year.
Yeah.
Uh, Thunder Pelicans was a sweep. Uh, Mavericks beat the Clippers 4-2. I'm sure a lot of people said the Mavericks Clippers would go 7 games, especially considering how it went always. Nobody would say Minnesota sweeps the
Oh
Suns.
yeah. Oh yeah, that was something.
You know what I mean? Denver 4-1. Okay, I mean, Denver owned the Lakers the last few years. But as you can see, not a lot of series goes 7 games. I mean, the only one that actually went was the T Wolves and the Nuggets. So we love saying 7 games, but most series actually doesn't go this way.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and we always are so sure that we know what's gonna happen, that our takes are so good, but it always changes.
And if you look at the East, I mean, you had like the Knicks and the Pacers going 7, and you had Cavs and Magic first round going 7, a series that none of us have watched. I'm just, I just, I just want to say that like there are not many game sevens in the playoffs, and we need to remember that.
For sure, you're right.
There were like overall 3 last years from a lot of series. So
Only 3 out the entire but last year's playoffs was a pretty lopsided playoffs and was heavily influenced by injuries too. I Last season's
oh
playoffs
yeah,
was
Celtics had the
very
easiest run to the
disappointing.
finals. Celtics has the easiest run to the finals I can ever
Man,
remember. Not to take anything away from them because they did beat Dallas, who looked great.
yes.
Uh,
Continuing it up 1 second.
yeah, don't worry.
Uh,
Yeah, so I'm just gonna keep yabbing while Noam is not here. And yeah, as NBA fans and as people who just love the game and respect teams, and we just know so much about the strength and what each team is trying to do, we tend to say, "Oh, like I can't make up my mind. I have to say 7 games." But we have to remember that matchups like just play a huge role here, and that yeah, nobody saw Dallas gentlemen sweeps the Timberwolves after they went 7 games with the champions in the Denver Nuggets last year. But if things do happen, matchups matters. Players get tired, and yeah, we do get some series that are very lopsided. I'm just gonna say because I started saying that the Celtics had the easiest road to the finals I can remember. Celtics Heat first round, Butler was injured. You remember he had those comments that pissed off Pat Riley. He was saying, "Oh, if I was on the court, this was different." And Pat Riley said, "If you're not playing, you need to shut the hell up." Celtics Cavs, no Donovan Mitchell, I think from game two or something. And then Celtics Pacers, I'm pretty sure what's his name was out, Tyrese Halliburton.
Halliburton. Yeah, he got injured in the
Yeah,
first game.
but then again, they beat Mavericks 4-1. That kind of looked unstoppable, and
Yeah.
historically, like they were great.
Yeah. In the West, you had Zion out was before the playoffs too. It was a shame.
Do you think the Celtics are making it to the finals this year?
It's a really good question. It's a really, I mean, it's really interesting, and I'm really not sure. We saw one game of the Cavs. They looked really good. I don't think that they are. I think that they definitely can beat the Celtics. I don't think that they necessarily will. I wouldn't say that they're heavy favorites in my eyes.
I think it's a 50-50.
Yeah, and I think it could easily be where Boston beats them 4-2 also. But I mean, Boston is it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very, very interesting how if
Are we
Boston
just
can exploit Cleveland's weaknesses.
are we just ready to call it Cavs Celtics Eastern Conference Finals? I think we are, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can just put
Yeah.
that there.
Yeah, I think the East was just decided about 3 months ago. You already
Yeah,
knew that's what's coming.
that's true. Yeah.
Uh, I'm very big on the Cavs. I mean, getting DeAndre Hunter in the trade deadline was absolutely huge to a team that was already best or second best interchanging throughout the season.
Yeah. It was a
Like
great
I
move.
always thought he was such a great player, and like I cannot understand why Atlanta just keeps making these lateral moves and just pick a damn direction, like the
I
internal.
mean, for him, I think improves like crazy this year. I mean, before he was very inefficient, but he's proved that he can be efficient this year, and he has to get paid now next year.
Oh, does he? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying. Yeah, I take the Cavs. I take the Cavs in seven, and then if we get Cavs, Thunder
Oh, and against
finals,
Boston?
yeah. And I think if they end up playing Thunder in the finals, I think the Thunder has the slightest edge. Just because I feel like they just have even more guys, even though Ty Jerome is in the conversation for the NBA's best third option. I know we keep giving it to Austin Reeves, but Ty Jerome, man, I love watching this guy. Such a
Yeah, he's a
dog.
beast. Yeah, he's a beast.
He
Third,
had
I mean,
20. He
he's
had
the sixth
28
man.
in. He had 28 points in 26 minutes last night.
He was really fun to watch yesterday. He was really fun to watch. I think I would take Boston in seven. I mean, it definitely could go either ways, and obviously, uh, Cleveland have home court advantage as well. But I would take Boston slightly. I take Thunder over everyone. I think that they're the best. They're insane. The way they play defensively is so special.
Yeah,
I think Boston would do better against them than the Cavaliers would.
I
Uh,
agree with you. I agree with you. I
yeah.
think if Boston makes it against OKC, I'm more confident in Boston. I just feel like the matchup, like just from what I've been watching this year, I feel like the matchup, the Cavs just match up really well against the Celtics. That's just what I feel.
I think
And
that they can Boston though can exploit they can try and take advantage of Garland and Mitchell and Jerome, all these small guards, but as long as Cleveland can if Boston isn't if Jalen Brown doesn't start playing like he did last year, then
yeah,
that's going to be an issue.
that's exactly. I think Jalen Brown is like the X factor in these entire playoffs. Like that's gonna make up what's gonna happen with Boston, right?
Yeah.
Hey, this has been the first buzzer beater podcast with my cuz Noam Harari. I have to say Harari. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say Harari. Just messes me up. Thank you so much for joining. If you guys have been watching it live, thank you for joining as well. And we're gonna be dropping more of these in the upcoming days, depending on Noam's availability and our work schedule.
hmm I'm more than happy to every day. I could sit here every day and talk. We could sit here all day and keep talking.
All right, so Hope you all enjoyed. Um, that's it for the Buzzer Beater podcast for today, and we'll see y'all in the next time.
Thank you,
Peace.
Nadav.